Right now, I'm on WrestleBiz, and that's not just the coolest, and that's not just the best. WrestleBiz, now that, my friends, is just incredible. Check them out. How are you, my friend? It's good to be here. It's my pleasure. I'm just happy to join the conversation.
Yeah, no, it's an honor to speak to you because I've been a huge fan of your work from going back. I was growing up in the 80s to the 90s, so seeing you as Aldo Montoya and stuff first off, and not knowing who you was gonna be, but then seeing you stuff in ECW when you was tearing it up then with Frank Steve and everybody, and then when you moved over, come back to the WWE and the stuff with X Factor and all that stuff. So you're somebody whose career that I've definitely followed and took notice of because you played a huge impact in the wrestling business. So just kind of starting out, how did you kind of get your start? I know these are questions that you probably get asked all the time, but just how did you get your start out in the business?
I was just a fan like everyone else, and I remember just as when I was 18 years old, going to the newsstand and picking up a copy of Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and in the back of the issue of Pro Wrestling Illustrated, there was an advertisement for the Hart brothers, Brett and Owen's family, their pro wrestling training camp. And the minute I saw that, this is before the internet and before, really kayfabe was still a thing, where not everybody was smart to the business. So I didn't know how to get into the business. So once I saw this advertisement, I just was like, oh my God, this is my shot. And so I worked and saved up money for 6 months. And I saved up enough to go to Calgary and train to be a pro wrestler.
I mean, what was that like training with the Harts? Because when we hear the Hart family now, I want to say rest in peace, Owen Hart, because one of the best to ever have done it. And what was it like being trained in the dungeon around the Hart family? Because we hear so many legendary stories.
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly intense. Let me just tell you that 12 guys started and only 2 of us graduated. That was it. That was literally it. It was crazy.
And it's still hot as intense as they say.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he was a maniac. He was a maniac. He was just an old guy that was just, just worked you really hard. Just worked you really hard. He just wanted perfection out of all of his students.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say one thing I've always admired and respected about you is just your approach to the wrestling business, the psychology and stuff, how you look at putting the matches together and just how the fundament. Is that something that you picked up around the Hart Dungeon?
I think so. I just always believed in, both from the Harts and also as a fan, I just felt like, I'm here to tell a story, and it's my job to portray. It's like if I want to portray anger or sympathy or whatever it may be, that's my job to do it in that piece, in that match, in whatever I'm doing. So I just, tried to always find out, look, what does the promoter want from me? And how could I best achieve that result? And just then kind of went from there,
So fast forward from there, you broke into the WWE. What was that like then, them giving you a different character, the Portuguese Man of War, Aldo Montoya?
It was great. I mean, I was so young when I got the Portuguese Man of War character. I was only 19. And I was learning still at that time. I mean, I've only been in the business at that moment for 1 year. So it was just an amazing opportunity to get to be on Monday Night Raw, in the beginning of when Raw really started. My first match on Raw was in 1993. And it was just amazing. I was so shocked to be in that position. Everyone else was so much older than me, and I was, just out of high school. I was like a kid still, So I was very lucky. I was very blessed, and I just wanted to work as hard as I could to be the best professional wrestler I could at the time, because I understood how unique and special that that situation was and my opportunity was. So yeah, it was pretty cool. It was awesome.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy to hear that you was actually 19 at the time, because I wouldn't have known you was that young. Now, to fast forward back a bit, you mentioned like Pro Wrestling Illustrated earlier, and when I was young, I used to, you know, collect a lot of those magazines, and that was when I was really getting into wrestling heavy. So I actually would have had a poster with Aldo Montoya possibly on my wall. So I remember you being in the WWE Raw magazines and stuff like that. So the only thing, it took me a few years to connect it back to you because they had you in that mask and stuff like that. Sticking with the WWE.
Yeah, it was. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead. I know the mask. I heard it was like a soccer sort of design it was going for at first.
Yeah, the mask was weird. It was like a jockstrap design, and but you know, it helped me because it actually protected me in a way from fans. Like, you know, even though fans were smart, a lot of fans, you know, didn't know that Justin Credible and Aldo Montoya were the same person. And you know, they do now, but back then they didn't really connect the dots yet. So in a way, it helped me when I finally went to ECW.
Yeah, you killed it in ECW, and I'm looking forward to getting to that. Before we leave the WWE era, you know, one thing we hear a lot about the Kliq. We see, you know, everybody throwing up the Too Sweet nowadays, the Biz Cliz. You mentioned being, you know, one of the younger talent at a time in the WWE when, you know, there was a lot of those guys wasn't around, and you was a part of that Kliq and that too. What was it like, just, you know, embracing those guys and learning from guys like, you know, your Scott Halls, your Shawn Michaels and stuff like that?
I was really lucky. You know, back then we were all just friends, and because we were with each other so much on the road, we became, you know, we were our own, you know, we were all just friends and family. And I was a young guy, and I was looking kind of like for guidance, and they were really good to me, man. They helped take me under their wing. They taught me so much about the wrestling business, about the do's and don'ts, and you know, they really smartened me up to where maybe what would have taken me 2 or 3 years to figure out, with their knowledge that they were dropping on me, you know, like I learned a lot of the stuff much quicker than I would have if they hadn't tried to help me. So I was very lucky at that time, you know, to have guys like HBK and Razor especially, you know, helping me out throughout my journey in the WWE early on.
I think like Razor Scott, he definitely got one of the best minds in the business. Even before all this YouTube and podcasting stuff blew up, I used to hear some old interviews from him, and I used to think this guy is like, he just, you know, he's got the mind for it on a different level, and so it's good to hear that you got that tutelage and that experience from him. So when you started carving your own lane, what was it that made you come up with this character, Just Incredible? You know, what made you carve out this new image with, you know, I just remember seeing you in ECW, you had the, you know, the cut jean shorts, and you know, I used to make you on the wrestling games that you wasn't on as a player character because you had just a bold image and stuff about you. So when did you start getting it and clicking and getting into that image of Just Incredible?
The reason I used the jean shorts and the ball, all of the image wasn't I didn't think about it. It just all happened really quickly because I went to ECW kind of fast, and I didn't have any other costume than the Aldo costume. So what I did was I was looking at what ECW guys wore in Raven, Balls Mahoney, and a bunch of other guys. They were wearing cut-off jeans, like the jean shorts. So I was like, okay, I don't have any other tights. I just have my Aldo Montoya stuff. So I can go to the store and buy some jeans and cut them off. And then I told Paul Heyman, I'm like, Paul, just give me an ECW t-shirt to put on. And I was going bald anyways. I was losing my head. And this is when like Stone Cold was really starting to come up, and, you know, a lot of people were shaving their heads. So I just like, you know, I just kind of went through the whole transformation very quickly, but it wasn't like a grand master plan. It just happened kind of by accident. Like I just took what I had with me, you know, kind of did it all very quickly. So it was more of an accident than a carefully constructed plan, if you will, you know?
No, okay, no, that makes sense. They say the best things happen sort of organically or by accident, and it's sort of a bit of yourself just magnified.
Yep. Yeah.
That's what makes the best characters that connect with the audience, because he was definitely able to connect with not just the ECW audience, but the wider wrestling audience as well, because the whole wrestling world was on ECW as well, so everybody was still checking out what you guys were doing. Did the opportunity ever come for you to make the jump to maybe WCW and do some stuff with the NWO and those guys, or?
It did actually, and just from when Lance Storm was going over to WCW, I had an offer, but I was contractual. I was obligated to ECW, so I never got the opportunity to go. But that wasn't until almost the end of WCW. So, in some ways, I'm glad I didn't go to WCW. Although the money would have been nice, it wasn't in the cards, and I ended up staying all the way through till the end of ECW.
So you mentioned Lance Storm. We're going to stick with ECW for a little bit. Definitely one of the most gifted and best technical wrestlers I saw, coming up from that generation, and, another solid man for the business. How did the tag team and you guys come together?
It was just Paul Heyman's idea, really. Just one day out of nowhere, Paul asked, how would we feel if we were a team just for one show? And we were like, okay, that'd be great. And I guess Paul liked what he saw and started to use us more and more as a tag team, which was really cool because, Lance was part of the Hart family as well, and helped train me actually coming through the Harts in, the early 90s. So, it was just perfect. It was so easy, and I looked up to him so much, and he taught me so much that it was just it was like stealing candy from a baby. We were just meant to be together as a tag team at that moment, so it was fun, man. It was just super fun and super easy.
Who was some of the best tag teams that you or your most favorite tag teams that you worked at that time?
Wow. I would say Gato and Jado from the FMW promotion in Japan, and Raven and Tommy Dreamer. We always had good matches with Raven and Tommy Dreamer. And let's see who else. One time we worked with Sabu and Rob Van Dam, which was also a lot of fun, but hard hitting. So I'm glad we only did it once.
Okay. Yeah, I know you must have a lot of hard hitting stories from ECW. And there's definitely nothing like it. We see you return when they did the rehashing of it in WWE later and stuff. And before that, you went back to WWE. You did some stuff with X-Pac, mixing it up with X-Pac and Albert, X Factor.
Yes.
What was it like working with those guys? I know you and Sean Waltman have a good relationship anyway.
Yeah. Sean and I always had a good relationship, so it was fun, man. I enjoyed it. It was frustrating though because we both felt that the team could have gone much further than we actually did, and because of the alliance, when WWE bought WCW, it kind of threw the X Factor storyline. It just threw it away. So then we broke up out of nowhere. He went to the WWE side, and I went to the alliance, WCW/ECW side. So unfortunately, we never really got to see the angle or the tag team come to any kind of a good play. You know what I mean? It kind of all, as quickly as it started, it went away, which is a shame because I thought Sean and I could have been a very good tag team.
Oh no, definitely. I think, and even as a trifecta, you guys was like a really solid stable that stood out at the time. And was it more just creative, not having like a long-term plan in place?
Pretty much, yeah, exactly. And all they were worried about was the invasion angle at that time. They didn't care about anything else,
Because when I think about yourself, like me personally as a fan, I think you've definitely been one of the most talented, wrestlers that came up from your era and stuff. Do you think that you was politics a bit, just down to your personal relationships or your affiliations? Do you think there was a bit of that involved?
A little bit. I think it's a little bit of everything. That was a crazy time in wrestling if you really think about it. In 1 year, both ECW and WCW went bankrupt. And all of a sudden you have all these wrestlers from all these different promotions looking for jobs in the WWE. I think I was just lucky enough to get a job. So I think then when that finally happened, I think a lot of us were lost in the shuffle because there were just so many angles and so many wrestlers, and so just I just think it was overwhelming, not just for the boys, but for the writers, for everyone. You know what I mean? I think there were too many Indians and not enough chiefs in the structure. So I think a lot of us just got lost, quite frankly. You know.
Yeah, no, just sort of the nature of the beast. I do remember sort of tuning out of wrestling for a bit at that time when, you know, Vince sort of consumed everything, and then it wasn't until like TNA I started catching wind of a few things like that, and he brought back a bit of fresh air. Going forward, are you keeping up with like have you been following any of the products at the minute, like AEW, Impact and stuff?
I do, yes. I follow AEW. I've watched every episode. I do a review show actually with Vince Russo. So yeah, I watch AEW and I watch Impact a little bit. So, you know, I think the business right now is actually very healthy, and there's a lot of good stuff going on, and I'm actually excited about what AEW is doing. You know, I think they have a great opportunity in the wrestling business right now. It's great to see, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, we'd love to see maybe you do something in AEW at some point. I'm actually, you know, liking what I'm seeing, the cross-platform stuff they're doing with Impact and New Japan. I know some people say that it's, you know, it doesn't benefit them, but I think it's great for the fans and it's good for the wrestlers as well. So,
yeah, I think so too. I think it's great for everyone. I think it's great for the fans, and it's certainly great for the wrestlers. It just provides opportunities for wrestling matches and for angles and such that would not have happened maybe 6, 7, 8 months ago. So I just think it's a very unique time in the business, and it's a great time in the business. I just can't wait till this pandemic and everything kind of goes away so we can get back to touring and getting out there again, wrestling in front of real fans again, you know.
No. So with that being said, I mean, what do you have planned and upcoming? Can we see you maybe doing like a wrestling school or something? I mean, I know you do the online training and you've done a lot of seminars and stuff in the past. Because I think I could definitely see you being like a coach, or maybe get like a head coach position at AEW or something, man. Tell Cody and those guys that you can do your work.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking to do something very soon. One thing you can look forward to is I'll be on season 3 of Dark Side of the Ring on one of the episodes. I can't say which episode I will be on, but I am featured on season 3 of Dark Side of the Ring, which will be coming out later this year. And hopefully I will end up either in Impact or AEW as a coach or something like that. I've certainly been talking to some people, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, you've definitely got a lot of knowledge and tutelage and experience to pass on. And that's one thing, like I will always say, I commend about you, because it's not something that you have to do. And it's something that I know comes from you. I've seen you on Facebook, you know, with parting messages, started the Pro Wrestling 101 group. And you've done that, you know, throughout your own tribulations and stuff as well, but you persevered forward and you send out a positive impact for like the next generation of people and people that follow the business. So I'll take my hat off to you, man.
No, thank you so much. It means the world to me, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
And just on one last note before we leave, as only because you mentioned the Dark Side of the Ring, from the last season, which one stood out to you the most? What was your favorite?
Oh man, my favorite was probably the Benoit story, only because I knew Chris pretty well, and it's just such a, to this day, it's still such a crazy story. It just it just had a special place in my heart. It made me very sad, but at the same extent, it just goes to show you the impact sometimes that pro wrestling can have, and it was just a real eye-opening thing to see. So that was just a heavy episode, but also a great episode as far as wrestling journalism is concerned.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I think the whole series was definitely well put together. And that was a touching episode, along with, the Owen Hart tragedy as well. That one definitely was touching as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So with that being said, just incredible. I don't want to take up too much of your time. We definitely appreciate you and salute you. I know you work. where can fans find you? Apart from your Twitter, your social media and stuff. I know you've got a website up and you pro wrestling tees as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just follow me on Twitter at PJ Polaco, and of course follow me on Instagram. Same thing at PJ Polaco. And also, if you're into some good wrestling T-shirts, check out my store, ProWrestlingTees.com/Just Incredible. I got over 20 T-shirts, old school, vintage, ECW style shirts. So check them out, man.
Yep, sounds good. Definitely. So, Just Incredible. Appreciate you. Much love.
Okay, thank you so much, and God bless you, brother.
Much love, man. I appreciate your time, and thanks for. Have a good day.